Welcome everybody back to Breakfast at Fiji One show. So as usual, we have my favorite part of the segment where we have interesting conversations with guests from all over. Today joining us is the CEO for SPX. Now we usually have Chese come on to talk to us, but we have the leader himself coming to tell us about something interesting that SPX has in store for Fiji. So first of all, good morning sir, how are you?
How are you?
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I'd love if you can kindly introduce yourself just a little bit to our audience, anybody who's watching from home that is unaware of who you might be.
Yeah, I'm Sherraj Obesekara. I am the CEO of the South Pacific Stock Exchange. I have been employed in this role since June 2024. And my role is to lead the stock market operation in Fiji and to ensure that there is enough investors on board and that there is enough activity in the stock market and that to make the stock market a preferred investment option in Fiji among the public.
That's quite interesting, and we'd love to dive into that a little bit deeper. But there is a fantastic annual awards that will be happening very, very soon. Now I'd love if you can go into detail. Tell us a little bit about this awards. What can we expect from it? Yeah,
so we will be reviving the SPX Annual Awards, which used to be an yearly event since the early 2000s. After 2019, since the pandemic, this is the first time we are having the SPX Annual Awards. The award itself has two key elements. One is to recognize our stakeholders that have excelled in the industry so far this year. The stockbrokers that have done well, the investment advisors that have introduced more companies to the stock market, etc. And we will also be having a Lifetime Achievement Award for the first time to recognize a personality that has contributed to the development of the stock market, for the development of the business community in Fiji and economic development over the years. The other key facet, and historically has been, is the Annual Report Awards. Now, an annual report is the #1 tool through which a company that is listed on the stock exchange, or any company for that matter, communicates its financial performance and its operational performance to the public and to its investors. So what we are doing through the Annual Report Awards is for both companies listed on the stock exchange, private companies and even state-owned companies, providing a platform for them to demonstrate how their annual reports have excelled or how their annual reports have gone above and beyond what's required, so that we can recognize the companies that have gone that extra mile.
So, sorry, I cut you off, my bad.
No, so it's important because it's about transparency. It honors companies that have gone the extra mile, and it facilitates informed decision making for investors. So that's why Annual Report Awards is it's a big thing for stock exchanges around the world. It's in our interest to have companies report well and report transparently and report elaboratively, and therefore we are excited about this, and we've had some decent response this year, and we look forward to it. So it's happening on the 3rd of December at the Grand Pacific Hotel.
Well, I think it's something everybody should be interested in, especially if you're participating in the SPX and you want to know which companies you invested in or which ones are doing well. So if you don't mind me asking, there are a few categories across the different awards for specific things. Can you elaborate on some of them? Can you tell us what these awards are?
So we have two main categories. One is a listed category. So listed category essentially is only exclusive to companies that have issued shares to the public for trading, and are listed on the South Pacific Stock Exchange for trading, right? So companies like Fijian Holdings, RB Patel, there's a list of 20 companies. And then the unlisted category, which involves general private companies and state-owned entities that have not listed in the stock exchange yet.
Oh, so everybody is welcome.
Yes, so it's open to any company that has that publishes an annual report and thinks that they've done a good job or thinks that theirs is outstanding enough to get recognized. So in those two categories we have multiple awards. One would be the overall annual report of the year for both categories, which means you've covered all angles, you've been transparent, you've gone above and beyond what's required, and you have a quality presentation in your report, quality information, easy to read, easy to understand. Then we have best management commentary, which is where the CEO and the chairman communicate the performance of the company. So that is again we would recognize companies that go beyond the bare minimum. Not only talking about the positives, but the challenges in the company, how they plan to overcome the challenges. Generally, an annual report is supposed to be about the past 12 months, but we also would like to see companies talking more about the future. Then again, best presentation and content, a separate category for that, in terms of what I just spoke about, and also transparency and governance. Again, specifically companies that we feel have gone above and beyond the minimum requirement, because generally, especially when you have a set of rules that you have to comply to, the tendency is to do what's only required.
Right.
It's a noble act to go above and beyond and to be transparent, especially when you're talking about information about your business. So we really want to recognize those companies. Then apart from that, for the first time this year, we've introduced 2 new awards that we think is in line with global trends and in 2 very important areas. One is ESG, which is environment, social and governance, related to how companies perform on the ESG front. So companies that communicate how environmental friendly their operations are, or initiatives that they are taking to make sure that their manufacturing is more environmental friendly, which is a very important aspect to this part of the world. And mind you, investors around the world are now really starting to look and reward at companies that are communicating on their ESG, or companies that are becoming more ESG friendly. Then the other award for the first time that we're having, which is another special award, is gender reporting. Companies that are being transparent about their gender initiatives in their company. Things like reporting on the diversity of their workforce, which are sometimes things companies would like to hide because they don't have the diversity, or they don't have the diversity that they can be proud of. So companies that talk about their diversity, or companies that are realistic. Right now we only have 20% in our workforce that are female.
Oh wow!
But these are the in hypothetically, right? These are the initiatives that we are taking to fix that. So another platform where we want to recognize companies that are actively doing something about gender equality and gender diversity as well, and to actually talking about it and being advocates for it. So those are by and large the categories, but that's for annual reports. But we also have some industry awards that I spoke earlier about.
Okay. Well, we'd like to continue this conversation, but unfortunately we're coming to the end of our segment right now. We'll be continuing this though after the break, so see you soon.
Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Wake up.
Welcome back, everybody. So we're going to jump straight into the discussions with the CEO, who's been telling us a little bit about the annual awards. Now, for anyone interested, sir, in participating in the awards the next time coming around, just in case they've missed it, or if they're not too late to join in, what are some of the ways that they can go into the awards?
Yeah, so we have for the applications itself, we have closed the applications on last Friday. So that process is over. So we have had a good response in terms of companies listed and private companies, and also some state companies applying. But we would encourage even other employees or corporates to send their employees to get an understanding and be inspired by what happens on 3rd December, because we will be recognizing, like I said, companies that go above and beyond. And sometimes you could be inspired to report on things like gender or ESG, or be more elaborative in your annual reporting next time by seeing some of the work that has gone through by some of the good companies or the best practice companies that we'll be showcasing on the day. So it's happening on the 3rd of December. Tickets can be bought through the SPX website. It's spx.com.fj, and it's a very easy process. It's an online form. So I encourage everyone to come in and to, again, it's not only about winning something. Sometimes it's about participating, getting inspired, being a part of the industry and the community to see how these companies are excelling in this corporate reporting field, and it'll be a good initiative, and it's almost like a training. I would view it as a training for my employees to go and see some of these initiatives coming into fruition.
What were some of the typical companies who were noteworthy to look at in the previous awards, because this isn't, like you've mentioned, even though it hasn't been happening since 2019,
Yep.
I'm sure that there are some companies that have noteworthy achievements
Yep.
in the previous awards. Are there any in particular that comes
Yeah,
to
so
mind?
there have been companies that have done well. A couple of examples of listed companies would be Fiji Holdings, Please Global, which is the company that runs Aquasafe, YY Water. Unlisted would be Ports Authority has won in the past, Reserve Bank has won in the past. So we have quite a number of companies that have done well in the past, and as you just heard, these are reputed institutions that a lot of companies, small companies especially, would benchmark against. So that's why I said it would be a bit inspiring on the day to see some of the work that has gone in by these companies, and it could inspire better annual reports in the future by everyone, which is our core objective,
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of your core objective, I'd like to switch topics a little bit to focus on SPX itself.
Sure.
Now, this organization runs to establish the stock market, or at least to look after the companies that are in it. Could you tell us a little bit about it for those of us who are unfamiliar with what the stock market is?
Right. So the stock market has a core objective at the outset, which is to connect excess savings of the public with companies that need that funds to grow. Right. So when a company wants to grow or expand, the options that they have for capital, which is capital, you need funding to grow, right? So if you already own a bakery, to put up another branch, you need capital. And one option is to go to the banking system and get a bank loan. The other option is to issue shares in your company and give part ownership to an investor that is willing to come and invest in your company. So what we do is we have established private companies, generally medium to large companies, that have already grown to a certain stage in their life cycle that want to now expand. And when they want to expand, we offer them a platform to issue shares to the public, allow the public an opportunity to own shares and invest in those companies. So the companies list on the stock exchange, and it's a process called an IPO, initial public offering, where shares are issued to the public for the first time, and the public invests, and the company raises money, carries out its projects, the company grows, and as the company grows, the public gets a benefit through either an increase in the share price or through what we call dividends, which is parts of profits. So the main objective of the stock market operator in Fiji or anywhere in the world is to make sure that there are companies coming in to the stock market, and that there are investors coming into the market, so that there can be good trading activity and there can be good opportunities for both the investor and for the companies. So we have 20 companies listed on the stock exchange.
Wow.
And they are some of the best known brands in Fiji, and these are legitimate, well-run companies that have been performing well. Just to give you a few examples, like I said earlier, Please Global, that run Aquasafe, RB Patel, Fijian Holdings, which is very well known, Port Denarau, which operates the port in Denarau. So quite a number of companies that are well established, that have issued shares, and as an investor, even you can register with the South Pacific Stock Exchange and purchase shares of these companies. And as the company does well, the share price increases, and you can sell those shares and get the profit, or you can hold on to those shares, and as the company grows or performs on an annual basis and profits, they provide what we call a dividend, which is a part of a profit to investors. And interesting part about Fiji is that out of our 20 companies listed, this year 18 companies paid dividends.
Wow.
Last year 16 companies paid dividends. So this year we have the highest ever annual dividend payout by all the companies in our history in the stock exchange in Fiji. So we have a culture of companies wanting to give back to their shareholders and investors. So it almost becomes a very attractive investment in that sense, yes.
That's a very interesting piece of information to have. So, well, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our time together. I'd like to give you this opportunity of any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience.
Yeah, we welcome companies or anyone that is interested to take part in the annual awards. And on the investment front, please visit the SPX website, or call our lines or our investor education experts to find out how you can invest in the share market, and we'll be happy to help you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. It's been a fantastic interview having this conversation with you. For anybody who finds this information quite handy, then maybe you'd like to keep an eye out for the 3rd of December when SPX has the annual awards. Well, that's it from us. We'll be coming back to you straight off this break with our news, sports and weather.
Wake up.